Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. You have Alyssa Corum and Ed Carson here. We're going to break down the action for the major indexes, as well as a couple of stocks that had some pretty nice days today, Ed.
That's right, Allie. We're going to take a look at Amazon, which was one of the big winners on the S&P 500, as well as Target and Snap, which both were added to Swing Trader today.
All right, great. Well, let's begin with a look at the major indexes. Here's a chart of the NASDAQ, which gained about 1.7% for the day, while the S&P 500 gained 1.1%. The Dow up about 0.5%. So we saw quite a few days in a row there, Ed, of declines, something that we had gotten not very used to seeing since the rally.
Yeah.
But we did see a gain today, and now we're closing back in on that 50-day line, as well as that 11,000 level for the NASDAQ. What do you make of the gains today?
Well, obviously, we really needed it. There's only so many moral victories. It was a little bit like we were almost talking to the market like it was a little league, a little soccer team saying, you guys really tried. I like how you finished. But I mean, we kept on falling. So today was really nice. As you say, we're getting close to the 50-day. The risk here is that, look, we're in a range. I think we would probably need to get over like the September 10th high, sort of, yeah, right in there, to really start feeling comfortable that we're sort of, out of the woods. I mean, maybe this is the beginning of something, but maybe we'll hit resistance at the 50, or maybe we'll get up to September 10th highs and we'll reverse lower again. That, in some ways, this is scary because it was getting to the point where investors were starting to give up. I was like, okay, this is not working, not working. But there were some interesting stocks today. We're going to talk about them, but some nice action. So you might, if you go in, really just tiptoe in. Don't just jump into it because you don't know. We could easily turn right around tomorrow or a day or two from now.
Good point. And we also have this 21-day line to tackle as well. So we'll see where we go from here. But in terms of individual stocks, Ed, you mentioned some nice movers today. Amazon gaining about 6% in above average turnover. So having a really nice day, a gap up over that 3,000 level, but it too is below its 50-day line. So how does that factor into the decision-making process here?
Well, yeah, I mean, as you were talking about this stock on IBD Live today, and the stock kept on strengthening, but the fact is it is still below the 50-day line. There's not really a great buy point for it. I mean, will it rebound? Will it keep going higher? Will it set up? Maybe this was the bottom yesterday, but we don't know. The goal isn't to try to get to the lowest price possible. It's to try to get a situation where if you buy it, it's probably going to go up from there. And, it's going straight down. So not straight down, but fairly sharply down, bouncing right back. It usually doesn't come straight back. So we'll see. It'd be great if it takes the 50-day line, like the NASDAQ and like other things, and to see if it can move along and maybe set up a new base.
Yeah, that would be great. So we're going to keep tabs on Amazon most definitely. And Target was added to Swing Trader, you mentioned. So let's analyze this one. We were talking about it as it pulled back to that 21-day line, didn't give up too much ground after that post-earnings gap up, and really showed its strength with all the volatility as of late, and popping up above that nice round number 150 today with a good price gain today.
Good price gain today. It had a nice rebound yesterday off the 21-day line, sort of cleared short-term resistance, which I'm assuming that's probably why they put it on Swing Trader, because it sort of cleared that little 150 area and the sort of resistance there. In a couple of days, at the end of this week, it will have a flat base if it can stay within there, and that would be a buy point right there. So you could have maybe started a little position, really tiptoeing and seeing it. But as you said, really held up well, that relative strength line. Look at that, how strong that is. I mean, yeah, it pulled back a little bit, but after a big gap up, then coming right back, when a stock can move sideways like that and the RS line is surging higher, that's really going to clue you in that it's really outperforming. This one is doing that. So definitely one that we've been watching for a while. We were talking, as you say, talking about an IBD Live today. So keep on looking at this one.
That's right. And underscoring that strength, Ed, of this relative strength line, it's hitting new highs, not just as the stock is hitting new price highs, before it's even hitting new price highs. So that is especially bullish. We love seeing that. Could be a precursor to further gains. We'll have to see, but our research shows that that is definitely a very good sign. And elsewhere, we want to check in on Snap, which had a good day of its own, up almost 7% above average volume. Came close to the 50-day line in yesterday's session before reversing higher, extending those gains today and looking like it cleared an early entry.
Yeah, there's a buy point. I think it's around 25.32. On a daily, it sort of looks like a pseudo handle. It's not long enough to be a handle. But if you look on a weekly chart, so this is a consolidation, it's not going to show up as a handle, but it was a down week. So that would have counted as a handle on a weekly chart. So it sort of works as a cup with handle. A lot of social media stocks did well today, in part because it looks like that Oracle TikTok deal may not go through. And Snap, probably more than any other, would seem to be something. It has a similar audience, and maybe it's a little older. Maybe Snap is a little too old for the TikTok crowd. I'm not sure, but it would obviously, you could see that doing well. So that's going to move it back and forth. If suddenly the Oracle TikTok deal is back on, that's a risk. So you have to watch out for that. Headline risk is definitely out there for this stock and other social media names.
That's right. And if you did not get in today when it cleared this entry, what would be the next thing that you would be looking for here? I mean, we don't like chasing stocks, so you want to make sure you're buying that as close to an entry as possible. But if you like going with a more traditional entry, maybe you wait for it to clear that 2686 level. What are your thoughts?
I mean, you could still buy it now because obviously it's just above that entry, which is sort of an early entry, sort of a good entry. If it came up to the highs right away, you'd feel a little bit extended unless you already had built up a position. I mean, if it comes up to the high and then builds another handle or consolidates or goes above the high, sometimes it might go above the high and then consolidate, a little shelf. Those would be opportunities to do it. So you just have to see how the chart goes. There may be multiple opportunities to go, but all of this is dependent on if the market does well. I mean, obviously there's headline risk, but if the market goes down, all the cool chart reading in the world is not going to stop the stock from going down.
That's a very good point. So even though investors may be tiptoeing back in, caution is still warranted. Make sure you are being selective with those buys. Just because we had, an encouraging session yesterday and strong gains today, that doesn't mean to get aggressive right away. You want to be selective and making sure the stocks that you do buy, you're keeping a very tight leash in terms of where your exit is and be very predefined with those rules heading in.
That's absolutely right. This is not the stock market rally from April to September or April to August, so tread carefully and we'll, just stay engaged.
That's right. Stay engaged because we are going to update our audience every step of the way on the changing market conditions as we always do. And you could do that by not only reading our content at investors.com, which is very detailed, but this show and IBD Live, which is our daily morning live stream. Our experts are sharing their screens, talking about actionable stocks, but also just how they are handling their portfolios with the changing market conditions. So we hope you join us over at investors.com/IBD Live. And Ed, we always like getting your take in there, all your Edisms, as we like to say. Everyone brings something really nice to the table, different perspectives, even though we all prescribe to the same general strategies. You get a little bit of a different take from everyone, depending on the stock.
I think that's great. Looking at it from different angles, you sort of have agreement. So it's not like constant fights, but like, just really looking at it, these different, like, oh, I like this entry. Well, I'm not sure. I don't really like this stock and this kind of thing. And it's really helpful. Tomorrow morning,
the nuances of it.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about Tesla tomorrow. We're going to talk about Nike and KB Homes. They have earnings tonight. So there's a lot of interesting stuff for tomorrow. There's always is, but I think it's a lot of really good stocks to be talking about tomorrow.
Yeah, so we hope you join us. Go to investors.com/IBD Live for all those details. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.